In the cable resisted deadlift, level 3, now you're going to get really creative and add awesome stimulus to your body by both using the barbell for the deadlift while adding an additional external stimuli and leverage onto thoracic extension. Let me break this down for you. So here's how you're going to do this exercise and the reason for this exercise. For example, Matt can do like a 450-pound deadlift, but using 40 pounds of additional stimuli from the cable, plus even an unloaded bar, if he has to do absolutely perfect form for 10, 12 reps, he's not gonna go to failure, but he's gonna feel tremendous fatigue. And the reason why, which I think is so important when you get this creative with an exercise, you gotta stop and think, yeah, it's functional training, but what is it? Because functional training can go the wrong direction, right? It can actually become dysfunctional training. So the reason why this is so effective and so awesome is because guys can lift a tremendous amount, or some women too, can lift a tremendous amount in a deadlift, but oftentimes that ends in strain and issues and dysfunctions and compensations and all kinds of stuff. So how do we make the deadlift even more awesome when we know that exercise is already so awesome, right? Well, by doing the deadlift in the way that you started learning in cable resisted deadlift level 1, which is with all the thoracic alignment, with the transverse abdominal contraction, drawing in all those stabilizers. You already know that, or otherwise you wouldn't be on this level 3, right? So using the transverse abs, tying in with the thoracolumbar fascia, the obliques, the way the whole system ties together and works, we're utilizing all that musculature. And we're also working on that thoracic extension, which is actually anti-aging. And we're working on pelvic alignment, which is strengthening the lower back musculature in the mid position of length, which we know in biomechanics creates the most optimal function and strength. Right? So we're getting all those benefits, but now what we're doing is by adding that additional leverage of the cable pulling on the upper body, it's trying to bring the body into this motion, right? Which is what? Kyphosis, right? So as people age, they start to get into this kyphotic posture, and you've seen people super buff and even athletic with this kind of posture, right? But it's horrible. It's so bad for the mechanics. Causes damage to the shoulder, causes damage to the spine, causes damage to the cervical spine. So what we're doing here is we're putting that load and stress to go into thoracic flexion. But we're, of course, not going to let that happen. We're staying in thoracic extension. So you're strengthening those muscles like the serratus inferior posterior. You're strengthening those muscles and getting the body motor control programmed to have awesome alignment and capability and ideal alignment all the way through the kinetic chain. So here's how you do the exercise. Going to use a barbell. Once the cable is attached, you're going to step back away from the attachment about 2 feet. How are you going to attach? The way you're going to attach is you're going to use a harness like you use in pulling a sled, right? So you put this harness on, typically this way, kind of like a backpack, right? Put it on you, hook it on, and then you're able to pull that sled. Well, what we're going to do here is we're going to put this harness on in reverse, right? So we're going to go like as if you put a backpack on the improper direction, right? Then what we're going to do is, in some of these chest harnesses have, like, for example, this has 1, 2, yeah, go ahead and turn towards the camera. This has 1, 2, 3 placements, right? Best place to put it is either here or on the bottom. You don't really want to pull it here because it just kind of like pulling forward, it makes more of a leverage onto the lower back musculature. But when we pull here, here's really ideal because now we're really getting that thoracic flexion pulling motion, right? So we're going to attach to the upper position. And now, once that's attached, it's very important that really this exercise is done with 2 people because one person is going to have to help stabilize the strap from the back. You cannot just buckle the strap because if you just buckle the strap down here, then what's going to happen is, again, you're going to get that lower back stimuli and leverage point there. So you either need to simply, around the base of the lower scapula, you're going to just pull. You're going to pull at about the base of the scapula. Or you can actually take a strap and attach it there. So like use an ankle strap and attach that to stay snug. Now realize if you use this strap, you're under a little bit of risk, because if that strap comes undone, probably not just going to lose the strap, but it's possible for this whole thing to come sliding forward or to pull you forward or to kind of jerk on you. So you're not going to do this exercise with tremendous loads. It's more about alignment, perfect function, and going fatigue with like biomechanical optimization. So it's not that big of a risk, but I do want you to realize that there is a risk in using this if that strap comes undone. All right. For the sake of this video, I'm gonna use my hand to show the alignment. So that's the way you get there. Then simply you're going to pick up a barbell, and the load that you're going to use on this exercise to start with is going to be about 50% of the barbell load, or 40–50% of the barbell load you were using and doing perfectly for at least 12–15 reps in level 2, whatever that load was. You're going to use at least only 40–50% starting in this exercise, okay? For the sake of this video, I'm just having Matt use the bar. Same form as you learned in level 1 and level 2. You have no business being in level 3 now if you don't know all that form in detail, okay? If you don't know that form, you should be going back, mastering level 1, then mastering level 2, then ending up here. Feet are parallel, patella tendon stays in line with second and third toe, pelvis is going to stay neutral throughout. We're going to do a transverse abdominal contraction, bottom 50% of descent, top first 50% on ascent, and then you're going to do that thoracic alignment breathing, really crazily important here. The thoracic alignment breathing during the ascent is so important, especially with all this leverage and stimulation coming here from the cable resistance, okay? Let's go ahead and demo a rep here, Matt. So keeping the spine totally aligned, doing perfect, Matt, doing thoracic alignment breathing on the way up. Nice, good. Let's do one more. Solid, good, good. And let's pause for a second. And let's show a second variation. So you could have in that upper attachment, but also I want you to realize you don't have to have it attached this high. You can also have it in here, because sometimes that strap might get a little tight. You don't want to end up passing out doing a deadlift because you're getting choked by your strap, right? That's not the goal of the exercise. So we're going to get this strap here pulled back, and as the fitness doctor practitioner, you're just going to use a little light effort just to help the client keep the strap on their back here. Good, let's go ahead and go into another rep. And pause for me. So there, right, we're going to start the transverse abdominal contraction maximally. Continue all the way. And then on the way up, we're going to do transverse abdominal contraction and that thoracic alignment breathing, right? So on that way up, Matt's extending the thoracic spine, pulling down the anterior rib cage, keeping all this in perfect alignment. That's the cable resisted deadlift level 3.